to show you how to do a chicken health check. It's really, really important to do a health check on your chickens on a regular basis and to feel comfortable holding them, so that when you go out to buy chickens from a supplier, that you're confident about picking them up, doing a health check, checking for issues like lice, mites, things like that before you buy a chicken, to make sure you're not buying unhealthy stock. Now I'm out at my friend's lovely back garden here. We've got little Puffy, who's a gorgeous little Pekin Bantam, and my friend's asked me to show her how to do a chicken health check, just so she can be sure of checking her chickens on a regular basis. I walk the flock in the morning when I let them out. I just walk through them in the garden and just make sure they're all moving beautifully, there's nobody sitting in the corner looking hunched, make sure they're all looking healthy and alert. And then what I do every now and then, every couple of weeks, every month, is pick them up, just get used to checking. Have they lost any weight? You don't need to weigh each chicken, that's too much hassle. But just check, have they lost any weight? Have they gained any weight? Have a look at your chicken. Is she moving about? Is she looking attentive and bright? Is she feeding with all the others? And little Puffy here, who's a Pekin Bantam, a little miniature chicken, absolutely gorgeous and fluffy. Very healthy little madam here. Now looking at her headgear here, so there's the comb on the top and these little wattles underneath her eyes. And then just around here, you've got her little pad of fluff there, little pin hairs, which are over the ear canal. If those came out, there'd be a little hole there. And you've got her earlobe, which is this bit here. So you look at your chicken head, start at the top down, check that she's got nice two bright shiny eyes. The third eyelid isn't coming over, and just check that there's no bubbles or snot or anything coming out of her eyes, any nasty obstructions in her eyes or bits of grass seed. Look at her nostrils, and I don't know if you can see that there, she's got little nostrils there at the top of her beak, just underneath the comb. And you want to check again that there's no snot and bubbles coming out of her nostrils, nothing like that. Holding onto your chicken, just have a look inside her mouth. Come on, Puffy. You don't like this, do you? Have a look inside her mouth. There we go. Just to check that there are no little canker deposits which look like cream cheese inside her mouth. Thank you very much. And then just looking down your chicken, have a look at the feathers. Now when you buy a point of lay bird, so she's getting ready to lay, so she's between 16 and 20 weeks old, she will be growing new feathers. So you may pick her up and think, well, she feels a bit like a porcupine underneath, or a hedgehog. She's got lots of quills where the new feathers are growing through. So that is normal in a young bird. Puffy here is mature, so that's not the case. But with the new birds, they will grow from point of hatching. So when they're little fluffy chickies, they will go through 5 sets of new feathers, of new growth, before they actually get onto the adult growth like this. So don't buy a chicken who has feathers missing, pecking damage, things like that. Make sure that you're getting one that's got a nice bunch of really smooth feathers. Looking at the wings here, so let's just have her wings. Can I have your arm? Thank you. Looking at the leading edge of the wing here, you've got the primary flight feathers, so usually there's about 7 or 8 of them along the front of the wing here. And they're what give the bird a lift. So normally what you might do when you first get chickens is you might trim on the left hand side, trim the primary flight feathers just on that wing back about that far, so not too far, just that far is enough. It stops them taking off and getting over the fence into your neighbour's garden. So getting back to looking at your chicken, just check through her feathers, make sure she's not got any raggedy bits, anything like that. Then you go down to look at her legs. Now we're going to look at your legs, Fluffy. She's got lovely little feather booties on, so not quite so easy to see on here, but you want to get a chicken which has got nice, smooth, closely scaled legs. So no loose scales on them. An older bird will have quite raised horny scales on her legs. The new bird, the little pullets, the young females will have very closely scaled smooth legs. Have a look at those and check that there's no damage to this little palm underneath her foot here. Have a look at that. You want to make sure that the scales are nice and close and all laying down close to the actual legs. Having a look round at the back end of your chicken, this is the business end here. So you've got this here. Now the technical term for all this here is fluff, believe it or not. That's what it's called. It's lovely fluffy feathers around the vent area. Now that's where the chickens get really warm. So if they're going to get lice or mites, they're attracted to this area here. Now chickens' normal temperature, body temperature is 105 degrees, so that's like you or I with a heavy fever, feeling really hot and sweaty. That's why when you handle your chickens, they feel very warm and they can get hot too quickly. So we say not to handle them too much because they will overheat. So having a look in this, what you want to do is part the fluff here and have a look at the base of the feathers, at the skin there, to see if you can see any little critters scurrying around, any little lice around the base of the feathers there, and you're looking for lice eggs on the base of the feathers. Also have a look at the vent here. Now looking at the back end here, if you put your fingers flat against her back there, you can, just below the vent, you can feel 2 pin bones sticking into your hand. Those pin bones are the pelvic bones on the chicken, okay, and they're just below the vent. Now the pin bones, if they're this far apart and they're quite narrow, it means that she's not ready to lay yet. When you pick up a chicken and she's got a big red face and she's got pin bones about that far apart, then she's either ready to lay or already in lay, in fact. And you can check that out by having a look at her vent, which is just here in the feathers. Now bear in mind this is a bantam, so she's got a smaller vent, but that's a wide, moist looking vent of a bird that is ready to lay or in lay. In a pullet has got a very tiny vent, about 1 centimetre across, and it'll be dry looking and she won't be ready to lay yet. So that's a very quick run through of a health check of your bird. Don't buy a bird which has got a lot of poo around its vent, any sort of dry droppings on the feathers. Don't buy a chicken that's got lots of lice or mites as well. Just make sure that they're looking really clean and healthy. Please don't buy a bird because you feel sorry for it. And make sure when you get your birds at home that you get used to handling them on a regular basis. If you find you're nervous at first and the birds are a bit restless and not happy about being picked up when you first get them, then wait until it's after dark, they've got into roost, give them about 10 minutes, half an hour to settle down, and then go and pick them out. Headlight torch is a great thing for that, and you can do your chicken inspection when they're a bit more rested and they've got into roost.